Hello everyone, Joe here from Snake Draft FPL, and welcome to a weekly series helping you find some good value free agents and waiver pickups in Draft FPL. If you're interested in Draft FPL tips and content, then subscribe to the channel to make sure you don't miss anything from us. The videos and podcasts will be coming thick and fast with a busy Christmas schedule. Looking forward to Game Week 15, we've picked out a couple of players in each positions with good fixtures that you could realistically pick up in your draft league. If you find this useful, then please like the video as it really helps us grow the channel. Without any further ado, let's get into the first pick. Okay then, first up, we start with goalkeepers, as always. First pick is Meslier of Leeds. I tipped him last week. He returned 8 points against Palace, so not a bad pick. And I'm going back in for him again this week. It's Brentford at home. Brentford are very wasteful. They create quite a few chances, but they're not clinical at all, which means opposing keepers quite often rack up the save points and in turn potential for bonus. And Meslier is a great shot stopper. And Leeds have been pretty tight defensively recently, so I can see a clean sheet here and potential for save points and bonus. Second goalkeeper pick today is McCarthy of Southampton. Brighton at home this week, and I fancy, to be honest, this to be a bit of a stinker. I'm actually going to the game this weekend, and yeah, I'm not sure it's going to be an all-time great, to be honest. Saints have been pretty tight recently. A couple of silly mistakes I've seen them concede in recent weeks, but Brighton aren't they create a lot of chances, but they don't finish very well. They don't have a striker that's capable of consistently finishing chances off. And yeah, I just fancy this to be low scoring. McCarthy, he may not keep a clean sheet, but I don't see them getting battered, and potential for save points against a side that create a lot of chances but don't score a lot of goals. Okay, first defensive pick from me this week is Cucurella. As I said just about the Southampton-Brighton game this week, I don't fancy it to be a classic. A 0-0 or a 1-0 either way wouldn't be a surprise to anyone, I don't think. So I think stocking up on defensive assets from either side in this game might be smart. Cucurella especially, he plays quite high on that left-hand side and creates quite a few chances, has good attacking potential if Brighton do make a breakthrough. But yeah, I do kind of fancy a potential clean sheet here for Brighton. And I think Cucurella or Lamptey on the other side are both great picks in this fixture. Second defensive pick this week is going to be Charlie Taylor of Burnley. I feel bad because I always seem to reference Burnley picks as uninspiring, but that's kind of how it seems, to be honest. Charlie Taylor's not particularly attacking, but he's very stable. He's nailed on, and Burnley have Newcastle away this weekend. And it's one of those weeks this week where a lot of the teams that have potential free agents all have quite tough fixtures. There's only a couple of fixtures I'd really target this week, and Burnley-Newcastle is one of them. I mean, Newcastle are better going forward than they are defensively for sure, but I'm still not convinced that they're going to do much in this game. Burnley will probably be the kind of team that they'll struggle to create against because Burnley do sit deep and Newcastle won't have the space on the counter. So I do fancy a clean sheet for Burnley in this one, and Charlie Taylor, Lowton, Ben Mee, they're all good picks this week, I think. Okay, final defensive pick is a bit of a niche one, to be honest. It's Nuno Tavares of Arsenal. It's away to Everton this week, which isn't a bad fixture, to be honest, because Everton aren't in great form by any means. Tavares is competing with Tierney for the left-back spot, and Tavares is in decent form, but I do think Tierney's still the better player. I think this is a kind of pick that if you own Tierney, I think it's a no-brainer, to be honest, to pick him up, because I don't see any scenario where neither or both of them play, so it's one or the other. So you're likely to get an auto sub if you go for the wrong one. So it doesn't really matter which one you get. So yeah, I definitely like the pick if you own Tierney, or if you just have a decent bench that you're happy to cover with, because it wouldn't surprise me if Tierney does start this weekend, but then also, Tavares is on decent form and could keep his spot. So yeah, Tierney's fitness issues are kind of well documented as well. So Tavares, even if Tierney gets the spot, Tavares will still play minutes over the Christmas schedule just because Tierney's not suited to playing games when they come thick and fast. So I think, especially if you've got a good bench or if you own Tierney, it's a good pick. First midfield pick for me this week is Tyler Roberts of Leeds. He played up front in Leeds' last game, but there is now rumblings that Patrick Bamford might return to fitness, which may seem pushed out wide. I don't think either of those scenarios are particularly bad for Roberts because I think he'll probably keep his place anyway. Brentford at home is a good fixture. 1 shot and 2 key passes versus Palace, and Leeds didn't particularly excel going forward, so he's still in the mix even when they're not playing great, and Bamford should provide a lift if he comes back in. I suspect he'll probably start on the bench either way, so Roberts will probably get another go up front. I think it's a decent pick. I think Brentford's a good fixture for Leeds. Brentford look like they've lost a bit of confidence lately, and Leeds may well be there to take advantage of that, as their performances have been trending upwards for sure. Okay, next midfield pick for me this week is Buendia. Not particularly under the radar pick, but I have noticed in quite a lot of leagues he's starting to get dropped. He's had not much attacking output this season at all, really. He's definitely underwhelmed so far, but I think he is looking improved under Gerrard. He had 2 shots and 1 key pass versus City, which is pretty good against the best defensive side in the league. I fancy him to start improving now. Watkins looks like he's on good form, and I think the right wing spot's a little bit more up in the air, whereas I think Buendia will certainly play. And I think Leicester at home is actually a deceptively good fixture. Leicester haven't been great defensively. They've been letting in on quite a lot of goals, and I fancy Villa to score a couple here. So I think Buendia is a good pick, especially if he's been dropped recently in your league. Final midfield pick from me this week is one of my favourite players, unsurprisingly as an Arsenal fan, is Gabriel Martinelli. Everton away, it's a pretty decent fixture, as I said earlier. Everton, especially defensively, have not been looking good, really. So I like the fixture. He's not guaranteed to start, for sure. He only really started the United game, I suspect, because Saka had a knock. But when he does play, he really does grab his chances. He's a massive goal threat when the minutes do come his way. And he's been playing so well that I do actually think he could well keep his place this week. I just think he's such a talent and he's so aggressive that it really gives Arsenal another dimension when he starts. So, especially if you've got a bit of space on your bench, it wouldn't be a bad idea to pick him up and wait and see, because it wouldn't surprise me to see him get a run of starts in the side. On to forwards then, and we start with Jay Rodriguez of Burnley. He played well when he came on last week, hasn't really been starting, but Chris Wood's sort of hit a bit of a rough patch of form, I think. I could see Jay Rodriguez starting alongside Cornet for Burnley. We all know there's barely any forwards available in draft FPL, so sometimes you do have to take a bit of a punt. Rodriguez is definitely a punt. But if he does start against Newcastle, or even if he only plays half an hour, I think their Newcastle defence is so poor that Burnley could see a couple of goals, and you'd fancy Jay Rodriguez to be involved if they do get on the score sheet while he's on the pitch, just because Newcastle are just so bad at the back. Last but certainly not least is Armando Broja of Southampton. Brighton at home this week. He hasn't started the last couple, but I fancy him to get a start here, actually. Adam Armstrong's form's kind of dipped. He did not have a great game against Leicester, and I could see Broja coming in to replace him. Great goal scoring record when he's been in the team. He got a few goals when he first sort of broke in, and an injury set him back, and he's been in and out the side since then. But I think this is the week where he probably comes back into the fold and gets his start. And if Saints do score, you can see him definitely being involved. They don't have a plethora of great attacking assets, so you'd think Broja will be involved if they get a goal this week, and definitely one I think is worth to take a punt on. Okay, that's all my picks for this week. It's a quick turnaround, I know, so make your moves now before the game week starts tomorrow. We will be back next week with a podcast. I believe we're going to be recording on Tuesday evening, so that'll be live for you on Wednesday. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if you're new, and we will see you next week.